As a pilot or flight attendant, what are some travel hacks that you don't see enough passengers taking advantage of? Nail writes, I'm not a pilot or cabin crew, I'm just a very well seasoned traveler. I always check in online as early as possible, 48 hours prior usually, and confirm my seat. My travel agent doesn't always succeed in getting me the seat I ask for. I'm very particular about my seat. It has to be just behind the wing point, always have, always will, unless I'm in first or club class. Window seat if mostly daytime, aisle if mostly nighttime, as I always seem to need to pee more than the people next to me. Most of the airlines seem to know me by now and always give me the seat without having to ask. I always try to be at the airport about 2 to 4 hours prior to departure, depending if domestic or short or long haul, to give me time to have a few drinks, a couple of smokes, especially on long haul, where you're without a cigarette for maybe 14 hours. I don't usually bother getting anything to eat, as it's very expensive in airports, and I know I'll get fed on the plane. Long haul. Short haul I might get a sandwich before we go, or just wait till I get there and have something then. I put my laptop and any items I know I'll have to take out of my carry-on, such as my meds and clear bags for any liquids on the top of my other carry-on stuff, so I'm not having to search around to get it out to put in the security trays. I check my pockets over and over, OCD for any metal items. Keys, coins, Zippo, etc. so I don't set the metal detector off. I still manage to fail to do this correctly every time lol. I get to the gate about 1 hour before departure, even when I know I'll be sitting waiting for perhaps 30 minutes or more before we get called for our boarding group. Use this time for going to the loo etc, read a newspaper, and just relax. I'm not a nervous passenger at all, though I always tighten my seatbelt before landing. I've had plenty of very rough landings in my time, Reykjavik being the worst, though I was stood next to Kim Kardashian, or whatever her name is, and Heathrow can have bad weather and wind shear quite often. Some airports there's a smoking area near the gate for that last extra smoke or two before you go. I might be nervous about meeting someone at the destination, or it's a place I've not been to before, and I'm apprehensive about how it will go. Or, I'm sad about leaving the place I've been to, or it might be a business trip, and I worry about if I'll get the job done in time, and get home early or late. One Christmas Eve we were delayed at Stuttgart, while they had to de-ice the plane. Got home about midnight. When nearing your destination, use the loos just before everyone else. Domestic or short haul I'll head to the loos about 30 minutes before landing. Long haul international 45 minutes minimum. I tend to find that, even if the pilot has switched on the seatbelt signs, if you're in the queue for the loos, there isn't a problem. I've never been told I have to return to my seat when the seatbelt signs are on, if I'm inadvertently in the queue for the loos still. Mod writes, define what you mean by travel hacks. If you mean common sense and planning, pack less. You probably won't need half of what you've packed. Bring a backup battery and cables in case your seat doesn't have a power outlet. Don't wear pajamas and fuzzy slippers on the aircraft. Choose seat assignments as early as possible. Pack snacks for everyone in your group. Don't walk around barefoot on the aircraft. Bring a refillable water bottle to fill after you pass the security checkpoint. You don't need to buy $8 bottled water in the airport. Besides, bottled water is usually just filtered tap water from other places, and it's wasteful. Leave your giant bed pillow at home. If you can't fly without a pillow, bring a small one. Bring headphones. Nobody else wants to hear what you're listening to. Check in early. On Nova's old flights, the last to check in are subject to denied boarding. Bring good earplugs, in case you want to sleep or read without hearing everything else. Put everything you'll need during the flight in a smaller bag, so you won't need to dig for important things. Get to the airport an hour earlier than you think you should arrive, so you can have a stress-free security experience. As a flight attendant, what is the biggest secret that us passengers don't know about your job? Lynn writes, this is a question that I've answered a number of times already, and yet it always gets requested. I'll copy and paste the answer below. What do you want to know? There are a lot of things about this job, which is quite mysterious, but with the right and appropriate research, it can be easily found. They are: warning, very long answer ahead. We are not paid for the period for which the aircraft door is open. any pre-flight checks, and after-flight checks are hours which we are not paid for. We say hello and help passengers during boarding and goodbye when disembarking, not because we are required to, because it's a nice thing to do. Flight attendants working short-haul flights may have to do 4 to 5 hours of pre-flight preparation without getting paid for it. They may only get paid for half the hours they have worked in that day for that reason. Delays would make it worse. Delays affect us too. We hate them more than you. Delays mean that I have less time to prepare and rest before the next trip that I have to embark on again. If I'm on a layover, it means I have less time in the hotel and prepare myself for the next flight. Flight attendants are there for your safety, not a service to your every need. We are not waiters/waitresses wearing uniforms. They are there to express our authority on the aircraft. The amount of flight attendants on a flight is decided because that is in compliance with regulation. That number of flight attendants is needed because of the number of duties which have to be carried out in the instance of an emergency. We are encouraged to be nice. When being nice doesn't work, we are allowed to use anything in our power to make sure no safety violation occurs. Turbulence is definitely more dangerous than you think it is. When you see us walking down the aisle, when we tell you to fasten your seat belts, you think we are overreacting. We are not. Do what we tell you to do. There is a reason we tell you to do something. Please don't make our job hard and just do it. The customer is most definitely not always right. We have a duty to keep all passengers safe. If this conflicts with the passenger's will, then sorry, but we have a job to do. It is not possible for us to remember your drink or food preferences. We have 300 plus passengers to serve on a plane, so this is not possible. Please be patient when you are waiting for your meal. We are preparing it. Please don't get mad when we are too slow clearing the trays. We are getting to it. Bear with us. We are stretched to the limit as it is. It is not our fault. Please be understanding and not too demanding. Just because you are technically entitled to unlimited drinks doesn't mean you can't be considerate and come back to the galley and ask for drinks instead of ringing the call bell. We really appreciate it when you come to the galley to ask for something. The question, how much do you make in a month, is hard to answer as it depends on the amount of hours you worked in that month. If you want, you can work 15 to 20 days in a month, you can, but you will barely have any time to rest between trips. You can also work less days for a more relaxed month. The standard of accommodation we stay in is also varied. It can be a 5-star hotel somewhere and a 3-star somewhere else. It just depends on what the airline had planned for us. The water on the plane is absolutely disgusting. The tanker which the water comes from is literally never cleaned. Don't ever drink coffee or tea on a plane. If you insist on drinking water, ask for bottled water. We will be happy to help you. Skip the coffee on the plane. Get it when you arrive. Trust me. The lavatories can be opened from the outside. It is usually located under the lavatory door sign and you can slide it across to open/close it. This is how the flight attendants lock the doors for takeoff and landing. The lavatories are absolutely disgusting. There have been a lot of disgusting incidents I have seen in that box space. Whenever I see a person not wearing shoes going into a lavatory, I wonder if that person would do the same if they had seen what I have seen before. I definitely wait until I get off the plane to use the bathroom in the airport if I don't absolutely have to go. There are some things which we can't help you with. We can't help you with delays, lost bags or a booking you. We will definitely try to calm you down and make you feel better, but that is about all I can do. That's not part of my job. I wish I can help you but I can't, and begging me or crying can't change that fact. There isn't much use in asking us for an upgrade. We have heard all of your sob stories and blatant scams. If check-in and boarding gate agents didn't upgrade you, then we can only upgrade you if it is a safety issue, and that is very rare. There is also the aspect that if I upgrade you for no reason, then other people will also be asking for an upgrade, and the people in first/business class will also be unhappy as they are receiving the same service as the passenger who only paid for economy class. It genuinely upsets me when some people think we are useless and only there to give them food/drinks. Yes, that's part of the job, but that isn't our main job. If my main job was handing out drinks, airlines would have long replaced flight attendants with replace meals, and vending machines and aircrafts could operate without a minimum crew and flights would never have to be delayed or cancelled due to lack of crew. This would save the airline millions, if not billions a year on pay/benefits. However, my main job is to ensure we get to our destination safely, and we all get to go home to our families. That is the job I take pride in doing, and what I signed up for. Regardless if it's my 5th flight of the day, I will always check to make sure the emergency equipment we have on board is in good working condition. Most likely we won't need it, but if we do need oxygen tank, halon, in-flight medical kit etc., I want to make sure it's properly working, and I can be confident in using it. The airline entrusts us to watch over this multi-million-dollar machine as well as the hundreds of lives on board. It would be irresponsible to expect passengers to figure out how to deal with emergency situations, medical emergencies, notice a malfunction with the aircraft, or prepare for a crash. Within my first month of flying, I alerted our pilots to a malfunction in our aircraft cabin door upon takeoff. Flight attendants are the eyes and ears of the cabin. This caused the cabin to decompress. Luckily, I caught it before we hit 10,000 feet and oxygen masks were not needed. We descended back to a safe altitude and landed. I'm not trying to give myself praise, but if flight attendants were not on board, would the flight have continued, and would everyone just pass out from a lack of oxygen? It's disheartening when some people think in an emergency we would ditch them. In an emergency, we will stay on the aircraft until we know you are out of the aircraft and safe. Time and time again, in crashes/evacuations the crew can be seen doing their job. Asiana crash, Hudson River landing, Pan Am terrorist attack, 9/11. Contrary to popular belief, we are not all dead once anything goes wrong, or even if we crash. Fortunately, most of us will never have to experience a horrible event like that, but even if you were a complete asshole to me during the flight, I'll still make sure we both get out and make it home, because that's my job. Disclaimer, the answer may make the reader think that I hate my job because it is mostly negative. However, this is not true. I love my job. However, the many positives are talked about quite often and are quite a bit more obvious, so I didn't include a lot of them in this answer. I take huge pride in my job, and the positives far outweigh the negatives, and I still believe that this is my dream job. I would also greatly encourage anyone who is interested in the industry to apply for the job and try it. It isn't an experience that you will get in any other career. Hope this helps.